In the next few minutes, I'd like to introduce you all to Geraldine Hoff Doyle. Now, not many people know her story, and this is her at age 17 in 1942. She's beautiful, isn't she? She's stunning. And I know that you don't think you know her name and you don't think you know her image, but you really do. It's just usually presented in a different light. So when this picture was taken in 1942, the United States was involved in World War II. From 1939 to 1945, the amount of men sent overseas to fight the Axis powers was over 12 million. This meant that women had to fill the roles of men in factories producing things that everyone in the United States and across the seas needed. So women obtained jobs in factories, and girls like Geraldine went from being high school students to being workers in the factory. Now, this isn't a picture of her, but at the same time, you can see how this is a representation of the different roles that she took on. In 1942, when Geraldine took on the new role as a worker in a factory, she worked at the American Brooch and Machine Company in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is a picture of her taken by the United Press in 1942. This picture caught the eye of J. Howard Miller from the Westinghouse Company in Pittsburgh. He was commissioned by them to create a morale-boosting poster that would boost the morale of all the women who were working at the company. And you might question, well, what was this poster that he produced? What was it? If we look back at the picture of Geraldine, you may notice a couple of things. She has her polka dot bandana, a working woman's outfit, and she's got the dark features. And if we mold all these things into one, we get Rosie the Riveter. And she's the we can do it girl. And this is Geraldine. This is her. This is the image that the United Press took and J. Howard Miller made into this poster. And it's actually interesting because Geraldine only worked there for 2 weeks. She was a cellist, and she had heard about a lot of people who were working with the machines and their fingers were injured, and she didn't want to risk that. Instead, she quit her job and she got a new job at a soda fountain and a bookstore where she met her husband. They later married in 1943 and then had 6 children. The other thing that's interesting is that since this poster was created for internal morale boosting, so it wasn't really exposed to the public until a couple decades later during the feminist movement. Many people could, excuse me, many people saw this as a strong woman figure, so they used this to boost the morale of feminists at the time. And it wasn't until the 80s that Geraldine put her picture from 1942 from the United Press together with this poster and who she was. She was Rosie the Riveter. After this, she took the opportunity to help within her community as a woman activist and a historical person. Sadly, she passed away before the new year of 2011, and her obituary was featured in the New York Times, the LA Times, and the Huffington Post. And all of these articles included images and features about how she was Rosie the Riveter, and about how she was this strong woman. But in reality, this wasn't only who she was. She's also a mother and a wife, and she had 18 grandchildren, 25 great-grandchildren, and she left this with them when she passed away. Now, my talk isn't about Rosie the Riveter. It's not about feminism, and it's not about women working during the war. It's about Geraldine. It's about something more than just Rosie the Riveter. She took on new roles that were necessary at the time, and I think that leaves us with something that we have to consider. I don't believe that the poster marred who she was as a person, but she is more than just that one image. She's a mother. She worked at her husband's dental office until she was 75, all of these things. And I think what we need to consider is that she didn't have to be working for those 2 weeks at that factory. The United Press didn't have to take her picture, and J. Howard Miller didn't have to take that picture, create it into a poster that all the public could see. So I think what we have to take with us is the fact that our lives are ours to live, and we only have one. So it's beautiful and daunting at the same time that we have to consider that our choices and responsibilities that we take on affect the lives of us and all of those around us. Thank you.